For more analysis, we're joined by the independent British and Syrian journalist Richard Medhurst, who's coming to us live from Vienna. Richard, it's good to talk to you because we're thinking here, since the OPCW released its final report back in March last year, we've had a trove of leaked documents surfacing, talking about the OPCW suppressing evidence and ignoring the findings of senior inspectors to fit the narrative that the Syrian government carried out the chemical attack back in 2018. Your reflections on this?
Hi, thanks for having me. So, I mean, from the get-go, this attack never made any sense, just geographically speaking, because the Syrian army launched Operation Damascus Steel in February of 2018, which lasted until April of 2018, and they had already taken back most of the Ghouta region in the countryside of Damascus. And so where Douma is located, this was essentially the last stronghold that was left, and it would make no sense for them to use a chemical attack or chemical weapons, allegedly, when they'd already won this battle and taken back most of the strategic area in question. And so just geographically, strategically speaking, this attack never made any sense. You can look at the maps of advancement by the Syrian Arab Army during that period, and it just does not correlate with what the UK, the US, and France have been alleging. Moreover, the treasure trove of documents that were leaked thanks to WikiLeaks from the OPCW, which show us clearly that you had corruption, cover-up, the experts that were actually sent to Douma, that were actually there in Syria to inspect the site, such as Ian Henderson and the anonymized Inspector B. Their findings were omitted, were essentially removed completely from the final report. The engineering assessment was removed, and you had outcry within the OPCW, which was exposed in the WikiLeaks publications, showing us that there was a cover-up and that the scientists, the very experts who were sent to investigate this alleged chemical attack, were outraged by this, and they were not being taken seriously and sidelined. And then, of course, we had a discredit. They tried to discredit them and character assassinate them and try to do these insane mental gymnastics, saying that Ian Henderson was not part of the fact-finding mission when he was actually the lead. So this is really once again a tactic we're seeing used by Western governments, similar to what they did in 2002 and 2003 when they alleged that Iraq had weapons of mass destruction. And it's just another tool of regime change. And of course, they used this alleged chemical attack in Douma to justify the bombing just a few days later without even having concluded anything and having found any evidence to support their claims.
Indeed. So where does this leave now, Richard? Where does this leave the neutrality and the objectivity
Julian Assange
of
now is
this
being
body,
tried
Richard?
unfairly in the UK. You can see why WikiLeaks and Julian Assange are being persecuted, because they publish things like this which reveal the truth about what these governments do in the Middle East.
Indeed. Our final thoughts on this one, Richard. Why do you think that the government, and where do you think this leaves the objectivity at the moment of the OPCW?
Well, I think it leaves it in tatters, because the OPCW is supposed to be an impartial, it's supposed to be a well-respected organization, and it's been completely sidelined now, and its reputation destroyed. You know, the whole purpose of having international organizations like the OPCW is that they're supposed to be fair and unbiased. But when you have countries like the United States, like UK and France, strong-arming them, and not only blocking testimony, as we saw at the UN Security Council from José Bustani, the former head of the OPCW, but also doing this all the way back in 2002 when they actually got him out of the organization and ousted him for trying to stop the war in Iraq. It defeats the whole purpose, right? It defeats the whole purpose of these organizations, because they're supposed to be outside of the political biases of these countries and not be subjected to pressure.
It's showing that they're clearly not. Richard Medhurst, thank you so very much. Looking forward to speaking with you again soon.